The old house stood on a hill. It was tall and dark. Its windows were like empty eyes. No one had lived there for years. The paint peeled and the porch sagged. It creaked in the wind like a groaning beast. Emma shivered. She pulled her jacket tighter. This house held stories. She could feel it. As a journalist, she hunted for stories, and this house whispered of secrets. She stepped inside. Dust swirled in the air. The air was thick and cold. It smelled of decay and forgotten things. She walked slowly, her footsteps echoing in the silence. Each room was emptier than the last. Furniture was gone, leaving only outlines on the dusty floor. Wallpaper peeled from the walls like shedding skin. She reached the stairs. They groaned under her weight. She climbed, each step a creak of warning. The hallway upstairs was dark. The only light came from the window at the end, a single window boarded up except for a small cracked pane. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional creak of the old wooden floorboards. Emma swore she heard something, a whisper, soft and low. It was almost imperceptible, like a breath of wind, but it was there, unmistakable. She stopped, holding her breath. The hair on her arm stood up. The whisper came again. A child's voice, she thought. It seemed to come from the boarded-up window. Emma moved closer, drawn by an unseen force. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing in the stillness. She reached out a trembling hand towards the cracked pane, feeling a chill run down her spine. The whisper grew louder, more insistent, as if urging her to uncover the secrets hidden behind the boards. The attic door was hidden. It was tucked away at the end of the hallway, almost invisible in the shadows. The old wooden door had been forgotten by everyone in the house, its presence a mere whisper in the dark.
Emma's hand shook as she reached for the doorknob. Cold metal bit into her palm. It wouldn't turn. Her heart raced, each beat echoing in her ears. She had always been curious about the attic, but now, standing before the door, she felt a mix of fear and excitement.
She rattled the knob harder. It finally gave way with a loud crack. The sound reverberated through the silent hallway, sending a shiver down her spine. She hesitated for a moment, then pushed the door open. The door swung open, revealing a dark, dusty space. The only light came from the cracked window at the far end. The air was thick with dust, and the smell of old wood and forgotten memories filled her nostrils. She stepped inside, her footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust on the floor. In the center of the room, a single item sat on a dusty table, a photograph in a tarnished silver frame. The image was faded, but she could make out the faces of a family. Who were they? And why was this the only item left in the attic? Emma felt a chill run down her spine as she reached out to touch the frame, wondering what secrets the attic held. Emma reached for the photo. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing in her ears like a drum. She hesitated for a moment, her fingers trembling as they brushed against the cold, dusty frame. A child stared back at her, a little girl with sad eyes and a faint smile, a smile that seemed to hide 1,000 untold stories. Emma felt a chill run down her spine as she gazed into those eyes, but something wasn't right. The child's eyes seemed to follow her, tracking her every move. It was as if the photo was alive, watching her with an intensity that made her skin crawl. And then it happened.
The whispering started again. This time it was clearer, more distinct. Emma could almost make out the words, a soft, desperate plea that sent shivers down her spine.
"Help me!" it pleaded. The voice was small, fragile, and filled with an overwhelming sense of sorrow.
The voice was coming from the photo. Emma gasped and dropped the frame, her breath catching in her throat. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. It clattered to the floor, the glass shattering into a million pieces. When she looked down, the child in the photo was gone, vanished as if she had never been there. Standing in its place in the attic doorway stood a young girl. She looked just like the photograph, her eyes filled with the same haunting sadness. Emma's heart raced as she realized the girl was real.
Her voice was a chilling whisper. "You found me!" The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning as Emma stood frozen, unable to move or speak.